Hey guys, it's John Tilley from Zonguru, and welcome to this live case study series. This is going to be a fun one, and we have Stefan Rachev, our CTO, joining us as well. What's up, Stefan?
Hey, what's up, John? Good to be
Yeah,
here.
good to have you. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. You guys are going to see me a little tired on these ones because we're doing it at 7 a.m. My time, so that we can get a good hour of this analysis before our day begins. But this live case study, it's an opportunity that's come our way through one of our customers who essentially has a product that's live on Amazon. It's a solid product, but it's not doing fantastically well. There's an opportunity for us to bring in our expertise and insights around listing optimization, product optimization, and importantly, PPC. So that's why I've got Stefan joining us today. He's got a lot of expertise around the Amazon business. So before we kind of jump into that, maybe Stefan, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit around talking a little bit about your Amazon experience, and as our CTO, what you do with your Amazon business.
So I started selling on Amazon, I think it was about 4 to 5 years ago now. Currently selling about 10 different variations. I do high six figures right now. I'm planning on breaking into the seven figure probably mid of next year, just as a kind of overall. Joined Zonguru, I think, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the rest.
We were so excited to obviously get Stefan on board as a partner to run our full development team. Stefan, we know how good you are developing, but that whole other piece, which is you have this successful Amazon business, and there's a few developers in our team that have successful Amazon businesses. Just that it's a beautiful marriage where you totally understand who the target market is, what they're trying to achieve, and what kind of tools they need to move their business forward, and what kind of data we need, because you obviously are the targets, which is amazing. And another little insight there is Stefan is also incredibly good at PPC management and efficiencies around that. And so that's going to be a really important piece of this live case study, because not only do we want to optimize the listing and bring in our thoughts around that, but also, start to work on the PPC and see if we can drive the right kind of traffic that converts and find those opportunities. And, at a high level, we obviously can look at the aggregate of our data and from an efficiency perspective around campaign running, Stefan is in the top couple of percent out of every single one of the Zonguru customers. So he definitely knows what he's doing on the PPC side. So I'm really excited to unpack that, and it's going to be quite a deep dive on that piece. But to summarize, I think this live case study is going to go over a few weeks. We're going to take this product, look at it, validate it, assess it at least, and see, is there opportunity to this? What can we do with it? And then we'll go through a few different episodes where Stefan will analyze it with his insights and expertise, and then we'll have a good discussion around that, and then create an action item list that the owners of this product will then go ahead and implement, and then we'll kind of report back on that each week and see how things are doing. So I expect this to probably be a 4-part series, and it's going to be live, in terms of how we record it, and exciting to see what the actual results are from the actions that are implemented on this product. And let's see if we can get some more sales out of it and what we run into. So, the journey is ahead of us, which is going to be fun. So why don't we jump over and let me share my screen and, talk a little bit about the product. And just so you know, I've been talking with the customers as well. It's two brothers, the Johnson brothers. You'll see the brand in a second, but I've been talking with them, so I understand the product, the brand, and I've got a good understanding of what that is. So I can talk a little bit to that on the call, and we'll get them onto the conference as well at some point, so you guys will get to meet them for sure and see what they have to say. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, guys, so here is the product. It's a 50-watt LED outdoor floodlight. So this is a waterproof outdoor floodlight to illuminate either your property yard or a workspace or a warehouse, parking lot. That's the kind of use for this. So it's got both a commercial use as well as a residential use, and the target audience on here are most likely two types. One is an actual resident who's wanting to put in this type of light, but we suspect that the majority of the audience are actually contractors. So electricians who are building commercial spaces, and they need to purchase good floodlights for the property. So they'd go ahead and search on Amazon. And the interesting thing that we see is that in the Amazon, in the world today, electricians, commercial contractors, a lot more of them are not actually going to the Home Depots necessarily. They're just simply going onto Amazon, going through their list of products they need to buy, buying them, and then shipping them direct to the contractor spot wherever they're building and doing it there. So it should be interesting. This product has been selling. I think they have a total of around 700 in stock. I think there's about 200 right now in Amazon, and the rest of it is in a 3PL. Now, the interesting thing about, and I'll just show you some of these pictures so you can kind of see the brand. So the brand is called Johnson Advanced Product Technology. It's great packaging. I think it stands out. I think that can align with some of those brands that we see in the contractor space, that kind of big yellow color. The important thing here, and this is a detail which I think is important to recognize, is this whole part of UL listed. So UL listed is a US kind of certification. The majority of the lights in this space don't necessarily have. It's kind of like a verification that you have to have, and it points to the product quality. So to be UL listed, there's a certain level of LED product quality that you have to have in a verification certification. And typically, and this is what's interesting right now, is typically these products that are UL listed in the space sell for around $65. So they're incredibly expensive compared to the other 50-watt outdoor floodlights usually sell for around $29. There's a lot of quality that comes with that product. Now you can obviously see the price here at the moment is $19, and that's just because the Johnsons are like, we just want to move this product. We're not getting conversions like we should be getting. We're not getting visibility. We just want to, right now we just want to get rid of the stock. So they've dropped the price. So if anybody who is looking for lights, if they come in and actually see this product and they say, hey, it's IP65, it's waterproof, and it's UL listed and it's selling for $19, the next comparable, I bet, when you look on the listing, will probably be around $65. Yes, with the visuals are good. It shows waterproof, it shows the beam, wide angles, contractor's choice, easy installation, compact. So relatively decent on the images, and a full listing copy. They've done some work around making sure that they get the right kind of keywords in there. So overall, it's a relatively good listing. Now you can see I think this is one of their biggest competitors down here, which is $43. Or there's $59.79. So these are all UL listed products. But let's go ahead and just look quickly. So I think the first thing we want to do is look at the Chrome extension. So maybe Stefan, you can talk to this a little bit. We can kind of open it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I looked at when analyzing this product was the main buyer keyword. And in my opinion, the main buyer keyword for this thing would be something like LED floodlight. So you've got 50-watt LED outdoor floodlights loaded up, which is very, very specific there.
So these outdoor floodlights, they come in different wattages. So you can get 50 watt, you can get 100 watt, you can get 200 watt, 75 watt. So I think my thought on the keyword there was that if you want relevancy, you'd have to include the 50 watt, because they don't have a range here. They just have the 50 watts. But I'm interested in, obviously the LED outdoor floodlight is a way broader main buyer keyword.
So I get that point. If that is truly a contractor coming in and buying it, he might type that in because he knows exactly what he's looking at. And if you look at the search volume on that, it's less than 50. So even if that is it's not a main keyword that you would base your product selection on. If you look at, probably just give LED floodlight a try.
LED floodlights to take out outdoor?
Just LED, just LED floodlight. And this one, I've got it loaded up here, but the search volume is around 17,000 on it. So this is much more representative of what probably an average user that doesn't know, what's the wattage he's looking for, is not necessarily a contractor. Maybe he just wants to buy a floodlight and have someone install it for him. This is what he would type, right? LED floodlight. So just as soon as it loads, we'll probably see that. So yeah, with this keyword, LED floodlight, you can see it's got 17,000 search volume, where the previous one had less than 50. So this is much more representative of kind of what we would say is the main buyer keyword, right? We can look at long tail keywords and very specific things later, but just for validating that this is going to be a valid business, you want to look at this kind of main buyer keyword where people are going to be searching for. So the things that I see here is search volume is fairly high. monthly sales, price fits in the range, reviews, okay, rating. So I look at really the niche score. With a niche score of 54%, you can make this work, right? You don't necessarily have to be looking at these niche scores of 80, 90%. So it's more important to actually look at the breakdown here and kind of understand what kind of seller are you and how much are you willing to invest in this business, right? Buyer demand of 77%, very high. This means that people are looking for this product, and revenue potential of 80%, also very high. And what this means to me is this, if you can get into this keyword, this is a product that has a tremendous amount of revenue behind it that you can generate, right? If you can get into page one of this keyword. Now, obviously, competition opportunity is the problem here. 0%. It's telling you, Zunguru is telling you, this is something that's going to be difficult to do. So you need to have a budget behind it, and you need to understand that in 99% of the time, you're gonna need to be selling at a loss in order to break into this market for a certain amount of time, right? You need to be prepared to do that. Or if you have another way to launch, maybe you've already got a long email list, etc. But just the launch process is going to be the difficult thing here, which it seems like that's really the part that they're stuck on, right? This has been launched, and it's generating, I think, about a sale a day, as far as I know. That makes sense?
Yeah,
so
that
far?
absolutely makes sense. I think the competition opportunity is absolutely scary, and I think that's when having a really strong off traffic way of driving leads to your product might be something worth looking at. So Google Ads, Facebook campaign, whatever you could, email list, which you mentioned, that kind of stuff might really help to drive sales. And so, and the reason the competition opportunity is 0% is like, if you look at all of these, the EBC, they have high numbers of reviews. They've really well optimized listings. Then just look at the revenue. I think that's the other last piece just to really look at is, if you look at the top revenue for these products, they're doing, this guy here is doing 170,000, slightly different product.
Yeah, this is one product that will get you 7 figures. I mean, just think about it that way.
Absolutely.
It's very,
but
very
there's
competitive,
a lot of,
very high.
I mean, the most important thing is that on this keyword, this is an important thing to in our strategy, which I'm assuming we'll dive into in coming up episodes. But LED floodlights, the relevancy is all over the place, right? Because I mean, look at all these products, right? You have Mr. Beam's cool. He's a 30 watt LED, but it's a motion sensor. You have just the actual screw-in LED lights, which is like the 13 watts, right? You have, these 6-packs, the 50 watts. This is the 50 watts. So this is a similar product to ours, actually, or these guys at least. And this is selling for $37, $35. So,
and probably long term, this is what you want to do, right? You want to be that guy right there. That's the 50 watt that's on page one of the very broad keyword. Yes. Selling at a price point of $40, right? Because that's when you'd be making 30 to 50% margin. I mean, I don't know what the kind of COGS for this product is, but probably long term, that's kind of the goal, right?
Yeah, I think the COGS is around. I think it's around. If I remember correctly, with these guys, it might be around $18 or so. Yeah.
$18 to get it into the Amazon warehouse. So it's not okay. So with all of the Amazon fees and everything.
Yeah, this is doing 18,000 right now. Yeah, you can see. I'll double check that on with all the fees, but I think it's around $18. Yeah, I'll double check with the guys. That'll be an action item for me to come back on. But we'll set up their Zunguru account so we can track the COGS and get everything set up there. Yeah. So I think this is a pretty big challenge, to be honest, to see what we can do, especially given the fact that the focus of this case study is going to be listing optimization around keywords and PPC. We're not going to be jumping in and doing off traffic strategies here. We're just going to focus on those two. If this was one of our customers, I'd probably say, hey, I'm not sure you can drive the kind of right numbers to get to page one for obviously LED floodlight with just PPC traffic. I don't necessarily see it. So it's going to move into this whole idea of what keywords can we potentially own that at least will drive some traffic, and hopefully if we really convert and they love the product, we can organically start to rank for this kind of keyword, right?
Yeah, in my view, it's a very niche kind of seller that will benefit from off Amazon traffic. You either need to be selling something that's very niche, or you need to be a very, very, very large seller. You'll see, but I'm 100% confident that we can do this with just PPC. You don't need to do anything fancy with.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a bold statement, Stefan.
So just a
that
few
is
things I want to add to
sure.
that, because you kind of touched on it, but just for the people watching, yes, LED floodlight is a very broad search term, and we're not going to, the first step of this isn't going to be for us to immediately try and rank on page one of this, right? You're right, the relevancy isn't 100% there. Amazon needs to learn the product first before they put us there. If we try to bid on in PPC, if we try to just bid on that keyword, it'll probably be like two bucks a click and probably lose us money. So just the overall strategy is going to be rank on longer tail keywords, which are easier to do. And over time, Amazon will naturally pick us up. What they do, what I found that they do is based off of other products which sell in the same category, and we'll look through the competitors, but other LED floodlights, Amazon knows what keywords they sell for. So once we start selling for a keyword like 50 watt UL listed LED floodlight, right, which is much easier, they will start picking us up for other keywords which are related to that one. And naturally, it's going to be easier to first of all, PPC is going to become cheaper, and organically we'll start ranking on other keywords. That's the high level strategy from this.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you can do for the Johnson brand. I think if we can make something work here, the challenge is significant. So, I think if we can make it work, it should give inspiration to other listeners and sellers out there that they follow these kind of strategies, they can make it really work for their business as well, which is the point of this, right? So what are the next steps? I think this is kind of a good first episode, which is introducing the. But what are the next steps that we need to do so that we can analyze this, get this going?
So the next steps would be to do some proper keyword research, look at the PPC, and optimize it. But before that, there are a few things that I see with this listing that are probably minor tweaks that we could get the guys to fix up, just so we're going into the keyword research and the PPC as optimized as we can be at this time. One thing that I see is, so the first thing that I looked at when I opened this listing, right? And you said this listing isn't selling, take a look at it. So this is kind of my process. The first thing I actually looked at was what's the what's the category, the specific category that this is listed under, and maybe they messed this up. And if you mess this up, you're 100% going to fail. In this case, it is floodlights. This is the proper one, but just if your listing isn't selling, make sure to come here and check. Look at your kind of top 5 competitors, look at what they're in, and make sure that this isn't something weird like yoga mat by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it is correct. So
why would you say 100%
that's
is going to
good.
fail?
One thing.
Sorry.
Because that's in orders of magnitude more important than your title and your bullets and for which keywords you appear for Amazon. If you're in the wrong category there, you're not going to appear in PPC, you're not going to appear in search results. It's just Amazon weighs that way more than your title, for example. You need to make sure that you're in the proper category, because that relevance, that's the number one thing that Amazon bases their catalog on, is that relevance between products. They don't want someone coming in with like a weird product and them immediately ranking it. So what they do is they know that certain products are already selling for, let's say, for LED floodlight. The way that they add new products to that list is mainly through this. So if they have products in this category, they know that it's a similar product as another product that they know is selling already. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how they kind of understand whether something is relevant or not. It's that relevancy factor, right? A lot of people think it's all about the title, and the title is probably one of the most important things, but that is orders of magnitude more important than your title. It's just something to check. It's an easy thing. So the second thing that I see here is the title itself. This title, now I know that some of its competitors are doing the similar things, but this is a keyword stuff title. And in my experience, this actually doesn't work as well as people think that it does. So two things is it's actually missing one thing, which is very important, is the brand name. I always put the brand name right at the front of the title. In terms of like keywords and weights, it's not the most optimum thing. You've already got your brand name here. And putting your brand name in the title, technically it wastes a few characters in terms of like search engine optimization for Amazon. But what you have to remember is at the end of the day, it's a live person that's going to be buying your product. The algorithm only ensures that they see you, but it's a real person that's going to make that decision. And when you see something that doesn't have a brand name, right, because the brand name isn't anywhere here, you don't see by Johnson,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
never going to see the brand name if you don't put it in. And if you see something like Amico 35 whatever LED security light, that seems more premium than if it was just security floodlight.
Okay.
So always put the brand name. The second piece for the title, so starting it with 50 watt, probably, unless it's a contractor and they knows exactly what they're looking for, this is probably a mistake, but I'm not sure. It's not a big deal. But definitely trying to stuff all of these lumens, cool white, exterior, commercial home building is unnecessary. So these are things that you would put in your bullets, put in your search terms. Your title really, I mean, it's a logical thing, but it really needs to help the customer understand, is this product relevant to what they're searching for? You don't have to try and do anything fancy with keywords or keyword stuffing. So if indeed, this is a LED outdoor floodlight, and if I'm just a regular guy looking for an LED outdoor floodlight, I would start with that. So I would say Johnson LED outdoor floodlight. Now, UL listed, you mentioned this. I'm not sure because I don't see anyone else using it. It might just be because they're not UL listed, or it might be because people don't understand what UL listed means. Certainly contractors do. It might be something to consider, but it also might be something to take out of your title and probably put in your bullets and explain what UL listed is. But if you do something like Johnson LED outdoor floodlight, you probably want to have these and this at some point, but not in the beginning. So cool white in color, 50 watt, extra bright. Something like that is totally enough. You don't need to be putting commercial home building exterior into your title. It confuses people. If we look at some competitors, I'm sure some of them have it, but in my experience, I found
Yeah.
that it actually works much better
That's
without that.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's really interesting. I think the common direction and one that I would probably follow is similar to the kind of the keyword stuffing, because my thought process on that would be, hey, what are some of the keywords that we're targeting from a broad match and a exact match perspective, that we think are right for the types of people searching for this product, and get those into the title. And the more we can get into the title, the higher the algorithm is going to rate that if those keywords convert. And I get you have to balance that obviously with making sense to the customer. Your approach of saying, hey, make sure you can accurately. It's interesting that I would have probably followed the approach of saying, hey, let's get as many keywords into the title as possible from a keyword stuffing perspective, because the algorithm, if those keywords broad match or exact match, the algorithm is going to give it more weighting. And I know you have to balance that with what can accurately describe your product to your customer. But that's quite a significant departure, I think, from a lot of the teachings out there, which is like, hey, use your whole title and get your main, um, you know, uh, targeted keywords into your title, because that's going to give it more weighting to the A9 algorithm.
Yeah, I think people put way too much weight on that. It's not nearly as important as a lot of these gurus would have you believe. The way to think about it is, how would you present this to a customer? How would you, if this was sold in a store, what would you call it? What would you put on the box? You certainly wouldn't put all that stuff on the box,
Yeah,
right?
right. So the action item there is to update the title now. We can get the guys, the Johnson
Yeah.
brothers, to do that. My thought on that is, I think that Johnson outdoor floodlights is great. I think for right now, based on what they're saying, I think keeping the UL listed as a point of difference, I think, is important. The cool white and that, I think, is important. Maybe
Waterproof is important, certainly.
waterproof and ultra bright.
Ultra
So
bright.
and basically getting rid of like all of the
Yeah.
uses, I think, is important.
Yeah, maybe something that's 2 to 2.5 lines is appropriate. So something about this long, or maybe this long. So if you just get rid of this part and kind of rearrange this a little bit to follow those rules, it's probably okay.
So we'll get them to do that. What else you got?
Okay, so the next one that I have written down is the bullets. So I think if you look at these bullets, what they've done well here is use up all of the bullet space, and this is where you would put these keywords. If you're kind of missing some keywords in your title, put them into your bullets. Certainly,
Mm-hmm.
try to make it sound where it's not 100% keyword stuffed. Try to make it, sound where when people read it, they're not going to be confused. But you can be a little bit more kind of liberal than in your title here.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have the bullets as long as they can be, just because as a customer, when I open this listing and I look and see it, it feels more premium this way. If I just have 5 very short bullets like UL listed super bright 50-watt LED, that's
Mm-hmm.
worse. So definitely this is good. One issue that I see is the first bullet. The first bullet starts with UL listed super bright long life, and to me, I don't understand what UL listed is. I would definitely start it with like super bright long life, for example, would be better. And you can probably use this to say UL listed and probably explain what that means. UL listed, this means it'll last like 10x longer or whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And then all these NEMA4X, they are probably important if you're a contractor and you know exactly what you're looking for. I'm not sure if they're that important to put into your first bullet. What I would do in this situation is look at competitors and look to see what they've done. If competitors have all of this technical stuff into their bullets, then you probably need to do it as well. If they don't, then you probably don't. I think outside of the first bullet, the other ones are well done. So the only one I would request for them to look at is the first one. So if we look at the second one, 50-watt LED floodlight, energy saving, environmentally friendly. This is good. They've done the benefit, right? The benefit is in the caps that you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the feature. So it's like IP65 waterproof. So this one they can probably change a little bit. Waterproof so it won't burn out, or waterproof so you can peace of mind, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Compact size, light and easy installation, that's good. Unlimited 2-year warranty. Yeah, this one's good. Everyone always puts unlimited warranty with their last bullet. You just have to be aware that people will will
Mm-hmm.
write and request that. So but it's fine. It's so industry standard that if they have something else that they can put here, it's also probably a good idea to do, just because this is so widespread that at this point it doesn't mean anything. It's probably okay. So main category is okay. We went over that. The next thing that I want to mention is the pictures. Now, the pictures are technically okay. There's a little bit room for improvement here, specifically in two things. One is the resolution for this picture isn't using the maximum size that it can be using. If you look, see the magnifying glass, it shows you. The magnifying glass is taking up the whole picture left to right, the whole thing. If you look at like this one I think is probably not doing it either, but it's closer to using the max size. See, the magnifying glass is actually smaller and it
Mm-hmm.
magnifies more. So it's something that's not critical, but they can probably change this picture
Make
to
it bigger.
use
Yeah.
up the full screen. And then just the quality, like the quality on this, it could probably be improved, right? The quality of the and this one as well. Like it's kind of like dark, not the text is just written in there without a nice bubble around it pointing at kind of the feature. Again, it's not a big deal because I looked at some of the competition and they're doing basically the same thing. But if you want to kind of hyper optimize, this is something that you would certainly do. You can get better pictures than this. If what we do doesn't work immediately, we can look at the pictures. For now, they're probably okay. So the next one I have is the price. Now the price is actually good considering the competition. They're selling at 30, 40 bucks, 24. So 19 bucks is good, but we need to understand what is the break even point and how much money are they willing to kind of invest in this, right? Because
Yeah,
if you
because
said
right now they're losing money for sure.
if their COGS is truly around $18, then with Amazon fulfillment, they're already losing money. And
Yeah,
then when we add
absolutely.
PPC on top of that, they're going to be losing a significant amount of money. What I usually do for launching my products is if you've done your product research correctly and you've gotten a fairly normal price from your sourcing agent, I launch products where my price is at a break even after Amazon fees. That's my launch price. I make zero on the sale, and then with PPC, I lose money. And I'm okay with losing money with PPC for a certain amount of time, whatever my budget is, as long as that's bumping me up organically, it's getting me reviews because people are buying it, etc. So we need to kind of figure this out and understand how much money are they losing and what's their budget.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that the strategy there is to launch your product at the price that is break even after Amazon fees, but you lose money on your PPC, and you're willing to do that for at least 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how long your launch process is, or your first month, or whatever, which I think is important.
So that duration, it depends on your competition. It depends on your budget. I do it for much longer. So usually I do it for about half of my first shipment.
Wow.
I so yeah, if I order, 1,000 to 2,000 units, that is my launch process. I don't do anything else but PPC, but I'm okay to lose PPC with about half of the first shipment, and by the second half of the first shipment, I try to make that back. My strategy is my first shipment, my whole first
Break
shipment is a
even.
break even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an important point there is that if you're doing that, it's really vital to make sure that you can get your second shipment in before your first shipment runs out. Because if you've done all that work, and then you run out and you have to kind of reinvest to get there, you're going to be losing money. So it's a critical
Yeah,
thing to manage your
I
time.
mean, you know what? With this, a lot of people talk about that and kind of running out of stock. They make running out of stock like this horrible
Mm-hmm.
thing that's like you can't recover from it. That's not true. And I think for me, maybe it's not true because I launch only with PPC. I don't do giveaways. I don't do rebates. And I think that Amazon has something in their algorithm to know about that. But
Mm-hmm.
every single time that I've ran out of stock, when I get back in stock, it just jumps right up to where it was. I don't do anything fancy like raising my price, so it slows my sales down. I
Mm-hmm.
don't do anything else. I don't shut off PPC. I just let things run out of
I
stock if
think,
they have
yeah,
to. Obviously,
and,
you don't.
yeah, I would agree with that. I think, I don't know. To me, I kind of have a gut feeling as well, and that you kind of have like, it's a three strikes and you're out kind of thing, right? Because Amazon wants to make money out of you, but I think if you continue to run out of stock, it's gonna hurt you. But I think if you run out at least the first time and maybe the second time, you can come back pretty easy.
Yeah, certainly you want to avoid it. Absolutely, if you can avoid it, you know, plan your shipments correctly. It's definitely something to do. But if it happens, it's not like,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to relaunch your product completely from the
Cool.
starting point.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we'll share this video with the Johnson brothers. They've got their marching orders. We'll go ahead and get them to make those changes, and then in the meantime, before next week, um, Stefan, we'll connect on this, but we'll jump in and do a heavy keyword analysis using keywords on fire, and probably the search term report, or something else on those to really target the right keywords, and then we can get them to update that, and we can start to work on the PPC. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate it, and look forward to the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to you soon.